A little soldier was playing with a pair of binoculars. Suddenly he spotted something in the haystack up ahead. A pair of boots was poking out and moving. He was young, but he could tell it meant danger. He ran straight back to camp and told the soldiers there.
Я ногу видел в стоге сена. Ну пошли.
Ладно, бойцы, пойдем. Проверить нужно, правда?
The soldiers believed him. They took him through the woods and out to that patch of grass. They were worried their own men might be inside, so they didn't just toss a grenade. The boy hid off to the side and watched. The soldiers set the haystack on fire, and sure enough 2 enemy soldiers ran out. The soldiers took them down and seized a radio transmitter too. This boy's name was Sergey. He had only been in the army a few days, and he had already done something huge, but he had no parents left, so there was no one to share the good news with. Not long before, in an air raid, both his parents had been killed. A neighbor woman had risked her life to shield him and got him into the forest. Sergey understood something. His life had been bought with the lives of many people, so he had to survive. But the forest was full of danger. The ground was nothing but mud. There was barely any food, and the Germans kept dropping bombs. All of it was a test for Sergey. One day he ran right into 3 German soldiers. Sergey had nowhere to run, so he hid down under the roots of a big tree. What he didn't expect was that a venomous snake crawled in too, but compared to those 3 Germans outside, the snake was a lot gentler. The 3 Germans finished eating and drinking and left. Sergey rushed over and grabbed the canned food they hadn't finished. Tough little Sergey was forced to grow up in conditions this harsh. He learned to protect himself with a stick, but even so, he was still just a kid. Cold and hunger drained all his strength. Then a hedgehog wandered up to him.
Чего смотришь, колючка наедая? Ты сбегал, сказал нашим деде.
The footsteps got closer and closer. By now Sergey had already passed out. Luckily the ones who came were Soviet scouts. They carried the weak little boy back to camp. At first he was terrified, until he heard a language he knew, and finally let his guard down.
Все, парень. Не бойся, ты у своих.
Ёжик про меня рассказал.
Конечно, ежик, кто же еще?
The officer Kuz shook his hand and told him he was a brave boy, but the moment they asked about his mother, the boy went quiet for a long time.
Сказал, что мама.
Тихо. Не плачь, ежик. Не плачь, ты же мужчина, мужчины не плачут.
Word got around that they'd brought back a little boy. The cook brought over bread and stew. It was the fullest meal Sergey had eaten in a month. Sergey was sent to the field hospital. Katya took careful care of him. The officer Kuz came to visit often too. The soldiers kept bringing up the little guy when they talked, and one older soldier carved him a wooden whistle. Everybody loved this kid, no matter the era. Children are the hope of a nation. Sergey showing up reminded these soldiers of exactly what they were fighting for. This place was changing Sergey too. As young as he was, he loved guns and tanks, because even he knew only those things could beat the enemy. Someone gave him a pair of binoculars, and an older soldier brought him candy. Everyone wanted to keep Sergey around, but Kuz said no. He felt a child had no place on the front line. Kuz planned to send Sergey away. Katya tried to talk him out of it. There was fighting everywhere now. An orphan wouldn't be safe no matter where they sent him. Better to keep him close and protect him themselves. Another soldier came by and said, everyone here had come to lean on Sergey. Looking at him felt like seeing their own kids back home. Kuz heard all this and went quiet. Once Sergey was out of the hospital, Kuz asked him whether he wanted to leave. Sergey didn't want to, so Kuz gave him a wooden rifle and took him on as his own son. He even tore up the papers to send the boy away and let Sergey stay in the camp. When the tailor heard Sergey was staying, he worked the sewing machine all night and made him a little uniform of his own. Early the next morning, Kuz woke Sergey up, or to put it more precisely, it was his father who woke him up.
Подожди, а во что же я?
Sergey was thrilled. This was a uniform that belonged to him. He had become a little soldier, but to make the cut he still had to pass a test. He had to get dressed before a match burned out. Sergey had never been trained, and somehow he actually pulled it off. He just wasted a lot of matches doing it. Once he got his strength back, Sergey's playful side came right back out. He would run all over the woods, but the next time an air raid hit, he froze in place too scared to move, and huddled in the trench afraid to lift his head. But after living through it himself, he grew up fast. Sergey watched the wounded men groaning in pain, and slowly came to understand how cruel war was. So he started helping out in the ward, doing whatever little things he could, like giving the wounded men water. He couldn't read much, but he still read letters to the soldiers who had gone blind, and he would sing for everyone too.
Фотографии в газете нечетко изображены. Герои мировой войны. Они снимались перед боем. Была зеленая трава.
After this battle was over, Sergey and Kuz came to a stretch of ruins. A broken sewing machine lay on the ground. It had belonged to the tailor. Sergey never got the chance to thank him, so he did what he'd seen his father do. He slowly took off his hat and saluted the tailor in thanks. To be more like a real soldier, Sergey would shave his face the way his father did, and when he finished he'd play it up, sticking on a scrap of paper like a wound. Then he'd go and give himself a job. He went to find the commander.
Норовец командира полка.
The commander saw how serious the little guy was, so he sent him to deliver mail. The commander also noticed the paper on his face and asked what that was about.
Да, ерунда. Брынся зацепил немного, товарищ командир.
The command room burst out laughing. The little mailman grabbed his bag and ran off to deliver the mail. The man sorting the letters let him in on a secret. A mail carrier had big privileges, second only to the officer and the cook. He could make the person receiving a letter dance.
Петров,
Я?
а не сплясать ли тебе барыню?
Барыню? Барыня, барыня.
Sergey was thrilled to hear it. He quickly found Alt the man getting a letter and made him dance. The mood was lively, and even Sergey started dancing along.